Thursday.
It
Opposite
is.
sex this time.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
1 o'clock.
Oh, 1 o'clock on
Well,
Thursday.
you
That's
should know you just had lunch. Anywho, we're back.
Yes, we are, as we are every week. And we very, very much appreciate you joining us, whether you are joining us, as the show launches 1 o'clock on Thursdays, or just in your leisure. It could be 2 o'clock in the
It
morning
could
and you
be.
you can't sleep, and so you say, I'm going to watch Opposite Saxes,
You can.
which I hope that you don't tune into Opposite Saxes at 2 o'clock in the morning in order for it to put you to sleep. Um,
Yeah, you should have
that
mentioned that.
that's
You should have
not the
mentioned
real
that.
reason
No,
to watch the show.
no, no, no. You might miss our wonderful information that we always give out.
Yes, this show is not only just for the fun of it and the humor, but very, very often we get extremely educational.
We
Uh,
do. Like
uh,
today.
like today, is today an educational show?
Possibly it
I
could
guess.
be. It could be. It could
Okay.
be.
You know what a granny pod is?
I had never heard that, but I figured it out.
It's another name for a tiny house. We have seen this goes back decades to small mobile homes
Mm-hmm.
that people would rent either as a
Microwaves
as a
too.
vacation place,
Yep.
or a little cabin someplace in a remote town around a lake or whatever. But that has developed into this concept of tiny houses, or downsizing, especially for the aging community, where you don't need a 4 bedroom, 3 bath house, with a big garage and all that kind of stuff. You just need the basic necessities. And I've often said that, and it's probably true for us, we have a formal living room. Never use it. It's a nice room. It's got nice artwork and all in it, but
But you
you
can go in
don't,
there and read.
most people don't use their formal living rooms or their formal dining rooms for that matter, because you use your kitchen area, which usually has an eat-in area, and you have this called a great room or a
Family
family
room.
room. Well, the concept of tiny houses was you walk in the door and there is a seating area where you have your TV and maybe a little desk in the corner. Then you have a little table with some chairs and your kitchen. You go into the back and there is a bedroom and a bathroom. Then there's usually some stairs that leads up into a little loft second bedroom. And these developers of these tiny houses go to great lengths to use absolutely every little
Nook and cranny
they
space,
can for
anything you can.
storage. Even that little staircase that goes up to the loft area usually has, cubbies and all in it for storing. And it's become really popular. And some of them are mobile, they're on wheels, and they can be placed someplace on a foundation. And that way, if you ever want to leave. But the latest thing that I've seen, it's called a granny pod. And basically what it is, it's like an igloo. It's almost the shape of an igloo.
Oh, I thought it was just a little
It
house, tiny
it
house.
it can be delivered to your house. It is all already pre-installed everything. It's almost like taking a nice hotel room that's got a kitchenette
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and a nice bathroom and bedroom and all, and putting it into a self-contained unit. The the big push on these is for people that do have a nice piece of property and they want to have a place for relatives to come and stay, because maybe their house is not big enough to have a multiple guest rooms or whatever, or maybe it's an in-law
Hmm.
place, but it's self-contained, and some of them are really cool. They really are. The thought of an igloo is it's round,
Yeah.
but they can be various shapes, but they're called granny pods now. And some people who do have a nice piece of property that's well fenced in,
Hmm.
they're putting one or two of these in their backyard. and they can rent them out as long as it's
Well,
legal to do
yes,
so.
right, right, right. City or community wise.
Yeah, but it's all self-contained. I mean, you probably have to run an electric line and a water
Like
line and
plumbing,
all
yeah.
to get to it, but it's like a a trailer, if you will, or a mobile home. It's got all the connections. You just have to connect it up and you're good to go.
So that brings to mind, have you seen anything about how it's rated? I mean, like what happens if there's a tornado or a storm?
Well, you bring up a very, very good point because if you take the steps to make sure that it is secured in an area, but again, I mentioned that the granny pod concept is rounded like an igloo. It's a much safer
Hmm.
design
Mhm.
for winds and rain and everything for runoff and for protection. Even in when we lived in the Florida Keys, almost everyone who had a new build house built it on stilts. The reason was if your home was on the ground level
Right,
and the wind hit a wall,
right.
it but if it was on concrete stilts, the wind flow would go
Underneath.
through.
And the water, if there is water nearby, will not flood the house.
But there are you could spend days on the computer just looking at tiny houses. Now there are tiny house villages where you can buy a lot and all, and then they have maybe six or so models, and you
And you
buy
pick
it,
one.
and then you can customize it the way you want, outfit it the way you want. It's this price, basic like a car. You got the basic model, and then you've got the add-on
Hmm.
amenities.
Right.
But honestly, if you don't mind living in a little smaller footprint, and let's face it, for seniors, rather than being in a high-rise apartment building or so, to be in a place where you can have your own little garden, you have maybe a little small deck where you've got a chair
Hmm.
and all to go out into in the evening. You have a carport and all for your vehicle. You have a storage unit in that's attached to the house. But inside you can literally go from the front of the house to the back of the house in a matter of steps, but it's got everything that you want or need.
My grandparents in Chicago, when I was little, they lived in an apartment building, and she she ended up having MS. And so it they didn't have an elevator in the building, so she couldn't
Ooh,
walk up, she was only they were only on the first floor, so they just walked up a few steps.
yeah.
But even that was difficult, so they decided to get a mobile home, which 50 years ago was like, I think you almost thought that you were on you were on welfare or something that you couldn't
It
afford.
was more
It
rural.
was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so they moved out of the city into the suburbs, into this mobile home. And it was so much easier because the cabinets in the kitchen in her apartment building in the city, she couldn't reach the
Yeah.
dishes
Yeah.
or
Very,
anything,
very, very
anything.
high. Yeah.
In the mobile home, it was so much easier for her. It was so much closer together. And yes, they didn't have all the room that they had in the original apartment, but she could move around and she could still do things. And they still had a nice little living room. They had the kitchen with a kitchen table, and it
Yeah.
was great for her.
Listen,
So it could be for people, young people that aren't feeling well or can't manage.
our home in the Florida Keys was a manufactured
Hmm.
home. The difference between a mobile home and a manufactured home is a manufactured home is brought in, whether it's a single wide or a double wide, and it's
Hmm.
put on a foundation.
Right.
A mobile home has wheels.
Hmm.
You put a skirt around it and it
Right.
looks the same.
Right.
But it does have the ability that if you want to move it,
You
you
can.
can do that. And we lived in a manufactured home. It was three bedrooms, two bathrooms,
Hmm. It was
had
beautiful.
a porch and all, it was great. And we lived in a 55 and over community
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
all of these. And some were newer, some were older, but it was comfortable living. And you
Hmm.
get to the point in your life where you say, I don't need all this excess. And like you said, to be in a high rise, a walk up,
Hmm.
that now you have to contend with steps,
Hmm.
that most of these
Right.
are
Yeah,
single
single
level.
level. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. 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 I loved ours in the Keys. It was great. In
yeah,
fact, I think that bathroom there was bigger than the bathroom we have in our current house
yeah,
today.
yeah. It had a tub and a shower,
Yeah.
double sinks.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
and the floors were there were beautiful floors, wood floors, and
It had a laundry room
yeah,
just off the
off the
kitchen,
kitchen.
which was smaller
Correct.
homes, or it is an addition that is put on to somebody's
Somebody else's
home,
house. Yeah.
which has its own private entrance.
Hmm.
We've been in several of them,
Hmm.
and they're thoroughly enjoyable. But of course, that's just for a
That's
limited amount
right.
of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. That's not
But the
for
more you stay in them,
24/7.
you say to yourself, if I ever wanted to buy a little piece of property on a lake someplace, this would be the way to go to get a manufactured
Hmm.
home. And believe me, I said it before, you can go online and find them of all kinds of sizes. One bedroom, two bedroom, three bedroom, two bath, with a porch, without a porch, single level, double level. There are all kinds that are out there. And
Well, down the street from us, there's a small area, 2 or 3 blocks square, and they have old boxcars, train boxcars that
uh,
they've made into homes,
train boxcars or containers,
containers.
shipping
Yeah,
containers
that too.
that they've
That
shipped,
too.
that go
Both.
out of service and all, and they can stack them.
Hmm.
They can do all kinds of configurations with them. They just cut doors and
It's
windows
amazing.
out of them, and then the interiors are
Yeah.
really, really something.
Yeah, they are. They are. As I say, depending on where you live and the weather, that's what most concerns me. Because that's what concerned me in the
Yeah.
Keys with the hurricanes. But our house was rated for very strong winds.
Well, it also had professional tie downs
Yes, it
that
did.
went right into the concrete
Yeah.
pad.
Yeah.
And of course, in those areas we had uh, shutters,
Hmm. We did. Hurricane.
close hurricane shutters.
Yeah.
But I encourage you, if you want to get away for a weekend, look around and see within an hour's drive of wherever you live, maybe out in the country, there's a lake, and somebody has put up a small, tiny house
Hmm.
community. They usually will have a common area for the people that are there, with a fire pit and maybe tennis courts, or a little amenity center. And it's just kind of a fun way, instead of being in a building
Hmm.
up on the third floor down the hall.
Right.
You can take the amenities that you have in that room and then put it on a little small individual house that you can go outside on your little patio
Hmm.
in the evening and relax.
Or if you would like to have relatives or friends nearby,
Yeah.
it's also the way to do it.
I noticed that there's a company that's been around for years and years and years called Tough Sheds.
Yes.
And Tough Sheds is now doing things, shed aminiums, or
Really.
they make barn aminiums
Because it used to be just for your laundry,
for
not your laundry, for landscape.
right, for storing
Yeah.
your lawnmower
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. And now they're doing, you can get one of those that has the storage ability, but it also has a small room that's attached to it that can have a little bed with a
Oh,
TV and a dresser and a little, either a full, bath, or so, that's part of the building. Now
nice.
they're expanding that. So it's something that people used to build
Hmm.
on farms and
Hmm.
everything. Now they're doing it for city areas too.
You just can't afford some of these apartment buildings and condominiums and townhouses
Yeah,
that we have now anymore. It's gotten, I mean, so this is, to me, this is the way to go.
it's, it's all part of that downsizing trend
Yeah,
that we live in. So, check it out sometime. The
absolutely.
small tiny houses, or the new word is granny
Granny
pods,
pods. Okay.
and all. And come back and see us again next week. And if you get involved in one, let us know. We'd love to share the information about how
Absolutely.
you enjoyed
I
it.
would love
Yeah.
to.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.